All right, so let's have a look at MSTR. So this is going to be a weekend update because we have overall market pretty much flushing down pre-market off the tariff headlines, and MSTR is one of them too, and Bitcoin. So let's take a look at this actually, crypto stuff. So 93K. So we're going to take a look at the Bitcoin chart. Let's start with the Bitcoin chart actually. So what I'm watching for this crypto asset, we have talked about this 91,500. This is the area where it pretty much started bouncing, and it was kind of like acting as a support. So flushing down last 2 days has come down pretty big, so it may act as a support again, which it did on an hourly chart. It did bounce. It's at 94 right now. But if it tries to bounce this 50-day moving average where it fell from today, where it opened, that's my area of resistance for Bitcoin. Okay, so now let's take a look at all of those altcoins and stuff. So you can see the only thing that is breaking even year to date, it's Bitcoin actually. So it's year to date almost 0.6% return now. But everything else you can see, Ethereum 25% decline, pretty much went right back to those election levels where it took off. Binance, same thing, I think. Cardano 25%. Solana 4% positive year to date, 8%. Ripple 8.8%. But everything else are getting pretty much hammered pretty hard actually. So Bitcoin's capitalization still $1.9 trillion, but you gotta be careful below those levels. So below 91,500, I would be watching basically 200-day moving average for BTC. I don't know if it's gonna happen fast or slow, or it will happen in the next 2 months or 5 months. No idea. But so far, volatility has been there, which means people were a little bit anxious, and there's a lot of headlines. Okay, new administration, there's a lot going on and will be going on. You will be hearing a lot of news all the time. But this was pretty funny, right? On when did it come out? Actually, a couple days ago. I'm sure entire FinTwit was pretty much bringing it up. Forbes, the cover, Michael Saylor, the Bitcoin Alchemist, and they brought up every single person who was on the cover of Forbes magazine and what happened for whatever the business they were associated with afterwards. This guy, what's the exchange's name? We know this lady, we know this guy from WeWork, and then Forbes, Michael Saylor. But again, they have break-even price of $64,500. Okay, so last time we looked at the filings of MicroStrategy. Their break-even price for Bitcoin is 64,500. Below that, yeah, they will be losing money, but so far they're still up. But the stock, let's take a look at the stock. Stock itself trades with a premium. Okay, meaning the capitalization of this company almost twice higher, and the price of this stock almost like 90%, 85% higher than what their assets worth. I mean, at the spot price of the Bitcoin. So everybody knows, everybody was talking about it, but the attraction was every time Bitcoin gets going, this thing was moving a little bit more, and it had options. I mean, their option market was attracting a lot of people because there's no way of trading options with Bitcoin, because with options you can be so creative, like you can do so many strategies versus just trading freaking Bitcoin, maybe long short. That's why a lot of people were attracted to this stock, and they're still attracted in terms of trading the heck out of, like, there are dozens of strategies you can see and be creative, whether you're short, long, sideways. You can express yourself many ways with options. That's why people were just attracted to this. Not only because when Bitcoin moves, this thing moves a few more times, and then when it flushes down, this thing moves down a little bit more too. So That's why you got to be careful on each side, whether you are selling puts or selling calls. I'm going to be watching for MSTR, that 200-day moving average. And last time we talked about this one, I was mentioning that they are going to have report earnings on 5th of February, which is Wednesday. So right now, it looks like pre-market on Sunday-ish, it's at 305. Yes, it makes sense that it's basically gapping down with Bitcoin. It's pretty much down same amount of percentage, but you got to be careful below 286. That's the level where it closed last year in 2024. So if it goes below 286, I'm going to be watching 200-day moving average. So 200-day moving average for this stock at the moment, $214 levels. But to the upside, I mean, I have talked about this one already. So right here, it wasn't looking like a super bullish because it was downtrending below its ultra short-term like momentum moving averages that I watched, 20-day, 5-day, and then even 50-day. So if you are bullish, the stock in general and Bitcoin, you have to, I mean, you want this stock get back above these 50-day moving averages, at least for the algos and in general for other people agree with you that, yeah, this is a bullish setup. For me, it doesn't look like it until it gets back above it. Okay, so if it cracks below these 286, I would be watching it all the way to 214. And options are going to be expensive again because of the earnings are baked in, and if market gaps down tomorrow, which looks like it, options are going to be expensive, and people have been selling both calls and puts. And Friday, I don't think I talked about this one Friday, but you can see how many calls were bought and sold pretty much on Friday. Volume 370,000 contracts, and by looking at the contracts, 30% sold at the bid, and puts and calls, if you take a look at the delta that are being exchanged, and it has been this way for many days now after it hit that $500 level. I mean, option sellers have been milking it every single day by selling you calls, by selling you puts, doing the spreading the heck out of the stock. And so far, by looking at this chart, I'm not seeing much of activity. I'm seeing actually very interesting order for this week, $150 put, which was purchased at the asking price, 7,000 almost contracts at 13 cents. I don't know if this was, it was actually in the morning. I don't know if they were expecting the stock to drop to those levels or not, but it's interesting that there are people who placed these sorts of orders, and like all these orders, even like $800 call, looks like it was executed at the asking price for February 7th, which is next week. I mean, 5 more trading sessions left, and I don't think that you will see this stock trade at $800 levels in a matter of a week. But again, let's see what they report and what the implied volatility is going to be. But I was saying last time when I talked about this one that IV is slowly coming down, and we haven't seen the stock trade with so much of a, I mean, below 100% IV, and range was getting tighter and tighter. But let's see what happens next week with the overall market. But with this stock, so far, momentum looking like to the downside. And I'll definitely update it if they file. I mean, they're going to file actually new filings, and I'm pretty sure they bought more Bitcoin last week. But we're going to see how much they did share offering and how much they bought, how much they have left shares to issue, and then we'll go from there. But this thing, I mean, every time Forbes was a top signal. Okay. So, but again, these videos are purely for entertainment purposes only. It's not a financial advice. Take care. Peace. See you in the next update.